I think it's pretty obvious we don't know what we're talking about, so I think everything's good.
Now y'all know what's wrong with me. And on that note,
I don't even know if it was bad breathing. I just know that it was bad on our part.
Go support your team. Go
Yes.
support band, cheerleaders.
The autumn mix inspired Michael Ball. It's the first time he's ever raised his hands on a yes.
Well,
so that's pretty impressive.
Scare that referee's coming back. Let's talk a little football.
hello and welcome. I'm so glad to be back joining these three wise men of South Georgia right here. Randy Young, Michael Best, Jim Rayburn. I'm Austin Reams, and you guys did so well last week. I'm really surprised I got asked back.
It wasn't the same.
So-
wasn't the same.
Anyway, I'm just glad y'all defended me at every turn. I really appreciate that.
I missed.
always depend on you guys.
I missed the
Yeah, the
wall-
buffer.
the
Yeah,
buffer between-
I literally am
and the
the
buffer really got
And-
closed
yeah.
with Randy sitting in
Right
the
in the middle.
I'm sorry. I did the best. I scooted
Right.
over
Yeah.
toward Michael a little bit to create a little bit of
Yeah.
space, but that's the best I could do.
When Randy's the buffer, things aren't going too well.
Randy's the
Man.
buffer. There you go, right there.
There you
Randy's
go.
the buffer.
All right, hey, let's talk a little football. Let's talk Colquitt County winners over Tift County 35-17, and an interesting scenario we were going through. So a four-way tie in this region. So first of all, we'll get back to the state title winners and prognostications on that, but tell me a little bit, Randy, about this kind of four-way tie, how you see this thing working out in Colquitt's region.
Yeah, we were talking about it before we started recording. I mean, it's a logjam right now. You got Colquitt, Valdosta, Richmond Hill, and Lowndes all with one loss, and they've all kind of beat each other. I don't know what the tiebreaker is there. I mean, it's different really from region to region. Yeah, so.
Hope it doesn't involve getting voted out.
Hey,
I'm thinking
They'll get you.
that region likes to
Gone.
vote you out.
just call Michael. He can tell you about that
They'll
one.
vote you out.
But clearly, again, you've got some good teams there, especially like with Camden now, 6-2, and they're on the outside looking in because they've got 2 region losses, and everybody else, those other 4 teams up in front of them.
They can change that this week, though, playing Colquitt.
Yeah,
That's
playing
right, that's
Colquitt,
right.
They may jump back in it.
Yeah, Colquitt 5-3, but only 1 region loss. So that'll be very interesting. That's a huge football game right there.
Yeah, going Colquitt County Packers going at Camden.
To
So-
St. Mary's.
Yeah, so that is always going to be interesting. Always a fun region to
Yep.
talk about. But a lot of state title winners have come from there, and let's talk about just in general. We're not making any prognostications, I guess, right now. But Michael, just kind of there's always a lot of talk about who's in contention for state title. Sometimes somebody jumps up and wins it all, but kind of in your classification, who are people talking about?
Well, Sandy Creek's at the top, and they're very familiar with being
Yeah.
in the run for things. So they've kind of been right at the top. Them and Jefferson, Peach County's right up
really?
there with them. So
Is he being for real? Or
Yeah.
Is he, okay,
He's,
all right.
he's,
Just making sure.
he's not real, but he's being.
I'm not real, but
Okay.
He's not making this up.
They
You're
act
not
like
making this
they
up.
act like sometimes I don't say things that are true. Obviously, we don't know what we're talking about here, but I try to fake it as best we can.
You stretch it a little
I
sometimes.
stretch things occasionally, but yes, those
So
are
Peach, okay.
Those are the Peach is ranked third, second in some categories.
Okay, all right. There you go.
I'm just reporting the
You're
news.
keeping it real.
I'm
All
just
right,
keeping it real.
That's all you know how to do.
100.
All right, Randy Young.
Milton.
What about? Okay,
It is Milton and everybody else.
All right.
Basically. Now, of course, there's always 3 or 4 teams in every class that you can kind of look at and go, yeah, they got a shot. But Milton right now, I mean, they got 11 guys that are committed to D1 colleges.
And they moved down, right?
They
Didn't
did.
They
They
won it last
stayed in
year.
the top class
and
and
moved
then
down.
They were in 7A last year.
Yeah, and you put
Thomas
Central up
County.
there. You put
Thomas
Keeping it real.
Thomas County, right
Milton
up there.
is the consensus #1 team in the state, regardless of classification.
They ain't
until-
heard them horns yet and played them jackets.
Yes.
That's right.
They ain't heard them horns
Until
yet.
somebody can give them
Somebody.
a...
And then Coffee too, right?
Yeah,
Well, Coffee.
Coffee was
You're
5A
skipping
team.
Lee.
5A.
You're skipping Lee.
And Lee
Okay.
County's in it. I mean, I think, again, there's like 4 or 5 teams that have got a shot at making a run, but again, Milton's the prohibitive favorite, I think is the best way to put it.
All right, let's go to double A, or is it one?
One-
I
It's
get confused now.
It's 1A.
One
A.
double
1A high.
One double A high?
No,
or
it's
just
1A.
one A?
It's
Division
single A
one.
high.
Division one.
Division 1 single.
Division 1A. A.
Bulldogs are going to win it all.
I'm already
think
confused
so.
enough.
The
so-
top teams right now are Dublin, Fannin, and Toombs County.
Okay.
But Toombs County's got it. Their final game of the year is against Savannah Christian, which is a private school that will get pulled out. But the odds are that Savannah Christian will beat Toombs and make them come out as a 2, and that changes a lot of
So
stuff.
that counts then, I guess.
Yeah, they'll
Okay.
be Savannah
Yeah.
Christian would win the region, but they don't go in
But
our
they don't go
playoffs.
in they go in a different bracket.
Right. So, but Dublin, where we're spaced out right now, it looks like if we won, we'd have to go to Dublin for the semifinals.
So Savannah Christian, if they win the region, they go into the private
They go
school
in
side of the
private-
playoffs.
Right, and so
That's crazy.
That leaves
So that region won't have a
that
region
region won't have a region
champion.
champion in public schools.
Yeah, that's interesting.
crazy.
But at least there is a private school bracket,
Yes.
which I think is, to me, if that's the conundrum to get them there, then that's fine
I
by
find
me.
it shocking that GHSA could come up with something that didn't make sense.
Hey, here we
Speaking
go.
speaking of
I
keeping it
just-
real,
Here we go.
I'm just speaking 100%.
He's not speaking on Jim or my behalf. just
No,
so
I did not
information.
say any of that.
Me,
Y'all are scared.
I have enough zebras after me, so I don't need the Georgia High School Association.
yeah, I need a buffer.
It won't
yeah.
be, won't be the first time.
All right. So what about Colquitt and is now that 6A, right?
That's 6A.
Yes.
All right. I got that one right. Thank goodness.
Carrollton and Buford,
Yeah,
I think,
right.
are probably the two that, if you're going to say, okay, there's, again, prohibitive favorites at this point, those are the
Yeah.
two that have kind of been anointed. And rightfully so. I mean, Buford is Buford. They're loaded.
Yeah, they won like 2 or 3 state titles in a row, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, they're loaded. And then Carrollton has the top quarterback possibly in the country, that Juju Griffin kid, and they're lighting it up. So those two teams, at least as far as right now is concerned. But as I've always said, give these teams down here a shot now.
That's right.
They've got a shot at taking it. And I'll say the same thing about Cairo, Thomasville, and Central. I think that all three of these teams can contend. Now, I'm not saying they can win it, but we can definitely contend for it, and that's what you want.
All right, one contender is Cairo. You beat Doherty 45-35, and you kind of had that game at hand. It got away a little bit, but that does happen. Like I don't know how to. When you're playing an Albany school, it kind of happens sometimes, right?
Usually it happens
is that
up
Albany
there,
school?
which was really strange, but we've had it happen with
Westover,
Westover.
maybe?
It's happened,
Monroe.
way ahead, and all of a sudden here they come, and now I remember we had to win one in overtime after comfortably being ahead the whole game, and then all of a sudden got to win it in overtime. Monroe has gotten hot and beat us. You've got them beat, and then all of a sudden the quarterback gets scrambling around, throwing the ball, finding open receivers, and that happened Friday night with Doherty, really in control. We took the opening kickoff, drove it down, couldn't score, so we punted them deep, like inside the 5, held them. They mishandled the punt. We got a safety, 2-0, and then they kick off the free kick, and Justin Teal takes it 65 yards for a touchdown. Now you're up 9-0, so you're kind of rolling. At some point, we were 19-0, I think, and just kind of rolling along, and then they would score here and there. Quarterback is a sophomore. Very talented quarterback. He scrambles well, he throws well, and he would really, we'd have 5 or 6 guys hem him up, and he'd somehow get loose. Well, now you've got 5 or 6 of your defense way over here, out of the way, and he's up here, and now he's by himself, and he can either throw it or run it, and that caused a lot of problems for us late in the game. They scored 21 points in the second half, in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
And of
Is
course,
that
we
is that
had scored
Kirby calling
14.
you, by the way?
It is.
Just tell
I told him
just
I'd
tell
get back with him.
Okay,
I told
all
him.
right.
He's
Just-
so
No,
excited.
that was Georgia High School.
It probably was. Probably was. GHSA, there they are, right
They
there.
got you on speed
They
dial.
got me on speed dial. Hush, stop talking. I apologize.
You'll be getting a letter.
Another letter, not another verse letter. So
Cairo offense rolling though.
yeah,
You got
well,
like that.
we kind of been splitting the quarterbacks. Bryce Puckett got the start, and then Bryce Wilson came in. They're both kind of sharing time. They took each quarter and played. Both played equally well as each other and getting better. We're not throwing the ball a lot when you got Brian Duncan.
Unless you throw it to him.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we threw a couple to him.
That ain't rocket surgery.
But he had a 102-yard pick six on one of their drives, and when he stepped in front of it and was down the sidelines, he was gone.
Yeah.
And so big play out of Brian there. And then he had another touchdown. People are always asking me how many yards did he get, and it's a weird situation when you say, well, he only got 169 this week.
Yeah.
That's pretty good still.
That bum. What was he doing?
What was he taking the night off?
Golly.
I don't know. But anyway, we come up with a win against Doherty, and had senior night and was able to recognize all the seniors.
Yeah. You recognize Joe Ward?
We recognized Joe Ward.
Before you didn't even say anything about that when I was
2
gone.
weeks ago.
Yeah.
Well, they got me nervous up here without you here, and I was worried how everything
You were
was
disheveled.
flowing.
Yeah.
I was. Disheveled is the word. So yeah, we recognized Joe 400 games keeping stats,
Yeah.
and gave him a plaque and really did it up and let him be the honorary captain and
That's
all
awesome.
that. And so congratulations to Joe Ward on a job well done.
There you
All
go.
right, give me a quick preview of Peach. We know they're
Peach
supposed to
County's very
win
good.
win state.
Yeah, they're
according to
right
you.
up there in the hunt for it, and they're in our region now. And so we've got Peach County and Westover left to play, two of the toughest teams in the region. We're tied right now at 3-0, both of us. Peach has already beat Westover, but we go up to Fort Valley to play them there, and it's going to be a tough battle. When you look at it, well, I think we're both kind of equally. I mean, when you know we've given them up about the same amount of points. We've scored about the same amount of points. I got a young defense. We got a young defense. I got an offense that can score a lot of points. We got an offense that's scoring a lot of points. So should be a good game. May come down to just who makes a mistake or something. Because I see it being a high scoring game. But anytime you say that, it winds up being 7-6 or something. But I think it'll be a great game. And it's not for the region championship. Now, if Peach beats us, they're region champs. If we beat Peach, now we got to turn around and beat Westover next week,
yeah.
and then we would have an opportunity to be the
Y'all got to go to Albany?
champions.
play?
We got to go to Albany on Halloween
There
at 7 o'clock
you
at
go.
night.
There
So
you
there
go.
you go.
All right.
See, so
Only good
y'all
things
just thought
happen.
that, y'all
Yeah.
just thought people didn't like
J-Row.
us. Now we see
Now you
they
know.
have really mixed it up and got that going. So yeah, we got to be there on Halloween night, trick or treat.
Trick or treat.
Goodness
There's
gracious.
a real nice little neighborhood right there that will trick or treat at the game.
Yeah,
That's right.
Yeah.
you better have some armed guards.
All right. Well,
Kevlar suit.
a treat for Thomas County Central fans and for Thomasville fans. 62-0. Both teams score 62 points.
Yep.
Thomas County Central over Northside. So I mean, it's kind of hard to talk about these kind of games, but it's good problems. So tell me
Yeah.
about some good problems you got.
Well, how far things changed in 2 seasons. I mean, the Northside and us are playing for the region championship 2 years ago, and now we go up there, and I mean that's the worst loss Northside has ever had, and we just took care of our business. Came out with a lot of intensity, throwing the ball. Jalen Johnson ends up with about 240 yards passing. We end up with about 230 yards rushing. A good night offensively, held them to 76 total yards and 4 first downs. And it was their homecoming too, which
Oh, man.
you
What made
hate.
them think that was a good
Why would
idea?
y'all do that to them on homecoming?
Yeah.
Well, why'd they do that to themselves? They couldn't have looked on the schedule and found. They could have had it in September.
I don't know. I can't answer that.
Preseason
I can't
game.
answer either one
Yeah,
of
the
them.
jamboree.
Scrimmage.
Yeah, Jamboree after our homecoming, baby.
Well, Northside is not what Northside has been. The thing that's so odd about it is you look at them, and how many times we say this, athletically, they look really, really good, but there's a lot of youth. They've got 2 big defensive linemen, one 6'3", 275, one 6'4", about 280, both of them sophomores. And they just acted, again, a little lost at times, and our offense was able to take care of it, and it could have been worse. We had
Was it the Horns that got them lost?
That's it. The Horns did it right there. Just threw them off. We had a couple of 4-and-outs where we tried 4th down conversions and didn't make it down deep in their territory. So I mean, ours was 48-0 at the half. Theirs was 48-0 at the end of the first quarter. Ours could have been worse, but no complaints, and a region win, and now move on to Houston County.
All right.
And a very big football game.
Yeah, I was going to say, so tell me, let's preview this Houston County game.
Well, Houston County's ranked number 9 in the state. They're coming off of a 14-0 loss to Coffee, which was a little bit of a surprise. Coffee County, of course, got their pride hurt losing big to Lee County the previous week. But they had to play, or the previous week, they had to play in Douglas. And A.J. Hill, who is their quarterback, who has thrown for about 2,800 yards at this point, he is one of the top quarterbacks in the state. They have the 2 top receivers in our region. Averaging a lot of points, but again, last week kind of ran into a buzzsaw, and I think the quarterback got beat up.
I think
a little
AJ
bit.
got hurt. He
Got
left
dinged up.
off the field. I don't know.
Yeah,
how
got dinged up.
bad.
Now, he came back in and played the last 2 series, but didn't look like he was 100%. So it'll be interesting to see how our guys handle it. It doesn't matter. I mean, this is a huge football game. It's got playoff implications written all over it. You just got to continue taking care of your business. As Coach Rogers said at the end of the game last week, the playoffs begin this week for Thomas County Central.
Yeah, and basically you're kind of playing for second
Seeding.
play for seeding.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Lee County looks to have it wrapped up. Maybe I don't know.
No, they
you tell
do.
me.
They
Okay.
do. I mean, right now, unless they just have a collapse, which you just don't see happening, Lee County is the prohibitive number 1 as far as the region race is concerned. I think, again, if we win this, then it'll come down to us and Coffee in that last game of the season to determine number 2. But it'll be Lee County, Coffee County, Thomas County Central, and Houston County somehow, shape, form, or fashion as far as the playoffs.
Confidence level high.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
All right.
They gained a lot of confidence.
Okay.
We gained some confidence the other night. No question.
Speaking of confidence, when you score 48 points in one quarter, that's confidence right
That's
there.
pretty sporty.
62-0 winners
That's
over Brantley County.
That's only the second time in the state of Georgia that Lincoln County scored 50 points in 03 against Athens Academy, and we scored 48 in a quarter. I think that ranks us either 13th or 14th in the nation. But, I mean, we scored on – well, the game started off, we kicked off to them, and the kickoff guy who's returned some kickoffs was going down our sideline, and our defensive back comes up behind him and picks his pocket and takes the ball away. First play, Rex Schofield catches a 61-yard pass for a touchdown. We stop them, get the ball back. We drive down, and Levante Cole scores on the wild dog. Then we get the ball back, and he hits Cy Wilson on 61 yards, same route that Rex caught it. And then Cam concluded the scoring by the offense in the first quarter with a run to make it 28-0. We kick off to them, and Joe Douglas picks off a pass, takes it in the end zone for a 30-yard touchdown. Kick off to them, they get penalized back at 12, they fumble. Keemon Jefferson scoops it up, scores. Kick off again, they get penalized back to the 12 again. Keemon Jefferson takes the ball away, scores. So 3 consecutive defensive touchdowns, that bumped it up to 48. We did miss the extra point, which put us at 49. But the offense, starting offense.
The kicker's leg was tired.
Right,
yeah,
right.
I mean,
Yeah, it probably was.
Bless his heart.
Because he was kicking off and having to kick so many extra points. But the starting offense ran 15 plays. Cam was 4 for 4 with 3 touchdowns for close to 180 yards.
That's a good night.
That's a
It
good
was
QBR
night.
rating right there.
Great night. And then, of course, Ann Anderson had a rushing touchdown and a receiving touchdown. So a great night for them.
All right, so really interesting conundrum. You got an open week, and then Berrien, and then another open.
We probably got a tougher game this week than we had last week.
Yeah, you're playing yourself.
Playing ourselves.
So,
the bad thing,
that's kind of tough. Like, this is kind of tough, though,
it's,
right?
it's a tough schedule going into the playoffs because we play Brantley, who was terrible. We're open. Then we go to Nashville to play Berrien, which Berrien and Brantley ought to be a heck of a ball game.
Yeah.
Just saying.
And then we play Berrien, and then we're off again before we go into the playoffs. So we got a stretch where we're going in
Yeah.
not with any competition. It kind of worries you but maybe finishing first if we win the region, you'll get the 28th team, 29th team in the playoffs down. So maybe it won't be. You can get back in the groove. But our starters hadn't had to play, and won't get to play much against Berrien, I don't imagine.
Now, one thing I did see that happen, I know Central didn't last year for your playoff run. To me, one of the things that is that depth really played a huge role where you had, a lot of guys last year that had played a lot and were ready to roll, and you didn't have people banged up as much for your run last year. Yeah. So that could be an advantage coming up. But
We've been banged up. We're just now getting some folks healthy that have been kind of suffering through the middle part of the season. So that'll help, hopefully.
Yeah, getting kids healthy.
Competition makes you better, and right now we're in a stretch where we don't have any competition.
Yeah.
My Bulldogs are rolling.
That's right.
Don't believe him.
Here we go.
All right. Well, you can believe Mitchell County and Pelham kind of are having a reversing schedules here. So Mitchell County over Miller, 8-7. And they're playing early, and then Pelham lost to early, 36-22, playing Miller County.
And I think if Early wins that, they're the region champions. That's
Okay.
the way I understand that.
And early is probably
Well,
maybe
Mitchell County,
favorite.
that's probably for the region because Mitchell's undefeated in
Then
the region.
that is a region championship game, then I'm sure.
Yeah,
That's
so-
a good game.
Good to see the Mitchell County Eagles doing well, and
After winning one game last year,
they bounced back. Love
impressive.
their quarterback, and they get out there and play hard. So
Yep.
Go
fun
Eagles.
to see. That's right. Go Eagles. Go Hornets. We'll see if they can what they can do rebound against Miller County. And then Brookwood loses to Tifton 35-14, and they are headed to Valwood. So we're going to take a break, and we will be right back on the press box. And we are back to talk a little college football. Thanks for sticking with us and soaking up the wisdom from these 3 wise men here.
Do you have
And,
FSU on yours, Michael?
No
Jim,
Florida
is it on
State.
your-
You
no?
know,
I guess we should have covered. They played when the high schools played, so I guess we should have covered them.
Yeah,
Yeah, we
well,
should cover
you
them.
know, I've seen
Friday night action.
You got a
I've
point.
seen high school, or I've seen a lot of
Got a
high school teams execute a lot better. So until FSU decides to play well, we will not really talk about them a whole lot because they haven't really earned that.
Yeah,
So,
I guess.
Anyway,
I hate it.
let's talk about.
They're not Brantley bad.
I don't know. I don't know.
Brantley bad.
They may be Matanzas.
We
bad.
got
They're
levels
still-
here. We
Yeah,
got
there's
levels.
levels.
Speaking of level, top level team Georgia beats a good Texas team. Sorry about that, but both teams I think are in line to get to the playoffs.
No doubt.
Well, if these guys will remember your question last week, are you worried about Georgia? That was meant for me, not for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I told them,
He
I
was.
said, I
He did.
told them coming off of Oklahoma that neither team plays real well after that, and Oklahoma got embarrassed.
Yeah.
And we got embarrassed.
Yeah.
But
Well, two things.
Ewers didn't play good. He doesn't
Yeah,
play
he
good
did.
in big games.
Georgia tackled and they ran the ball, and they had not been doing that. So,
Yeah.
I mean, for us, if those two things aren't in play, Texas wins that football game. But
Yeah.
they showed up.
So
I was worried we could not tackle and contain the quarterbacks, and they were going to hit us deep a lot.
Yep.
And we kind of looked like the Georgia we've seen that,
But not up to this
We're-
point this year.
yeah.
not any point of this year.
we're
till-
going to get to
Other than
y'all's.
the Clemson
We're
game.
going to
Other
get
than
to
the
y'all's
Clemson game.
cheat codes. You got some cheat codes over there on that defensive side.
Cheat
I'm
codes.
telling you. Well, that's a video game reference
Okay.
right there.
Okay.
So
Wait a minute
anyway,
now.
I don't
You're
even
a bunch
like
of old
video
guys here.
games.
Don't be throwing
Yeah.
all this new fancy
We don't.
Yeah.
We're not gamers.
Whatever. I can see all three of you guys.
Play
We're
Pong.
gamey.
I still play Pong. I could play-
Yeah. You have an Atari? That's what you got
I
right
had
there.
Atari, and I could play them pinball machines at the skating rink.
There you go.
Those are good.
Those are good. But
No cheat codes. with
is
those.
Georgia favored to win it all? Are they with one loss? Maybe Oregon's maybe in there.
Not yet.
There's too many games to be played down
That's
the road,
it.
and then those playoffs is according to your seed. And
That's it.
I mean, when you look at the SEC, you've got you got LSU and Texas A&M up there undefeated. Everybody assumes Georgia's going to be in the SEC championship, but not.
They
y'all
may
didn't
not.
want to be in it, so why
And
did
I
y'all
don't think
beat
you
us?
want to be in.
Yeah,
it.
that's true.
I should have threw
Should've
that
thrown
game.
that
Why
game.
did y'all cheat?
We've thrown
Yeah, that's
enough
right.
around.
You tried to tell Kirby that, but he just wouldn't
You
listen.
phoned him.
Just send him a text message.
Well, one of the major controversies of the game, besides throwing stuff, but one of them was targeting. And so, I mean, this would be, I think maybe we all want to see targeting change, but are there any rule changes that you would want to see? Randy, I'll start with you on this one. I mean, you guys are going to have maybe a little bit of an issue with Florida, not because you're way better than them, but you got a couple players out.
Several guys in that secondary that won't be able to play for the first half, and Florida all of a sudden is playing pretty good football. I don't know what to say other than find some sort of way to penalize consistently an offensive guy who initiates that contact.
Yeah.
Somehow, some way. It can't all be on the defensive guy. And several times the other night, again, and we were talking about this during the break, a couple of those calls were just, you went, really? I mean, and then
Yeah.
the ones that you thought, okay, well, that's for sure, didn't get called.
call
And I just very little consistency
Yeah.
there.
And
Here's-
we really needed the one that didn't get called. We didn't need the others, but we needed that
Well,
one.
here's the deal. These conferences should be hiring these officials as full-time employees.
Yeah.
Make them accountable because the game's over. Kirby has to face the press. Quinn Ewers had to face the press.
Yeah.
These officials walked out and went home.
Well, no official in any level has any repercussions when they mess up in a game.
That's
Go to
exactly-
high school, you mess up a big game. There's no
The
repercussions for them.
NCAA has enough money to pay these guys to be full-time employees to hold
Yeah.
their feet to the fire for what they're doing.
Yeah.
To me, that's the thing.
Or incentivize good reps,
Yeah,
right? Some way to
absolutely.
incentivize in that way. It's just the targeting rule, and again, especially as an FSU guy, if you're known as an aggressive team, you're going to
get
get
targeted.
3
You are gonna get
targetings, and it doesn't matter even if FSU is terrible like they are now. By golly, we're going to get 3 of them
right.
against. We'll be playing Charlton Southern, our only hope of getting a win here in a couple of weeks. But I think, to me, on the reviews, if you can't figure it out in 30 seconds, then the call
leave it
stands.
Go with what's on the field.
Right, it should be
period.
really obvious.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, speaking of consistent, we have yes, no.
Uh-oh.
Consistently
Let me get me a drink.
great. We got a lot to get to here, so
Get it. Let's
here we go. All right. First one, since I wasn't here last week. All right, if Austin does a bad job hosting, Texas fans will throw stuff at him. Randy.
Yes. Jim's loading up.
There we go.
Jim's loading up.
Jim's got a fastball, too. I don't know if this is good if I do a bad job.
Yeah, but
Yes.
it probably won't change anything.
Yeah, but you'd still be back.
All right, there we go. It'll still be back. All right, Randy. Georgia is good, but not elite without Michael Williams, number 13.
Agreed. He made a huge difference down
That's
on the
the
defensive
cheat.
line.
That's the cheat.
That's the
Cheat
cheat
code.
code.
Yeah,
That's the cheat
I
code.
will agree with that.
And number 11, I don't
And
know his name.
His presence raises the other guys
Yeah.
on the field. So yeah, I agree with that.
Everything does better when you can. That quarterback is nervous,
Yep.
right?
Oh my gosh. Yep.
So you're going to agree with that one, I'm
Yes.
sure. You're going to agree with that one.
I agree with that.
That was an easy one. All right, here's another easy one. Jim, Carson Beck is a first-round quarterback. I'm going to say no, by the way.
I'm gonna say no. By the way,
All right, is he a first-round quarterback, or is he? I should have said he gets drafted higher than Stetson Bennett, but anyway, is he a first-round quarterback?
You know what? I'm going to say yes because in the NFL they have receivers that can catch.
Oh, we're okay.
Well played. Well
right.
played.
What do you say, Randy?
It's got to be Mike Bobo's fault. I mean,
Oh,
it-
yeah.
it- somehow, some way, it's got to be.
he teaches
I
catching.
think he's playing himself into a round 2 guy at this
Yeah.
point.
I think Bobo caused the bottles to be thrown in.
It's
Yeah,
got to
that
be
was
his
it.
fault, Jim.
That
Don't-
was
I'm
it.
starting that on the Georgia message board. I'm
That's
going to
right.
say it
Let's
right
go.
there. That was Bobo's fault. It's got to be.
Randy, undefeated Army and Navy is just what America needs.
I like it. I'm going to say yeah. I think it's
Yeah.
kind of cool.
Yeah. What do you say?
Well, ever since they got the spine stuff going, you know, Army and Navy are both winning now. They figure
Yeah.
they're the best at it. You know, that's,
That's
what they do
right.
for a living.
Counterintelligence.
That's
what we're getting on.
Counterintelligence.
Okay.
Government's got
all
something
right.
to do with it. It's got to be the government's fault.
Them
Yeah,
drones.
that's right.
Them drones.
It's good for
what-
college football.
It
like
is.
it.
No,
I like it.
I've heard that they don't have NIL or transfer portal,
right.
so like that continuity kind of matters, guys.
That's right.
But
And
so
Dabo's kind of proving his point here
yeah,
lately
there we
too
go.
now.
There we go. We
No doubt,
we
no
have
doubt.
to we may have to apologize to him, but that really
Never.
yeah, I really don't want to.
There's a
But
line there.
It could be that Army Navy plays in the conference title and then plays again the week after.
Wow.
Could be.
Hey, I say never, but
Could be.
I'm doing stuff I've never done this
That's true.
But-
He
That's-
wore a
you wore a
dog
Georgia
shirt,
shirt, right?
He
Is there
wore
a
a
picture?
Georgia shirt.
No, there's no picture.
The runner.
But I wasn't gonna mention that.
People saw it. People saw it though. I'm just
I
saying.
wasn't gonna be. I'm having to pull for those
Yeah,
guys
you're pulling
over
for
there,
those two
and I've
over
never
there.
done that before.
And he's
know.
never worn a Georgia
Are you
shirt
okay?
either. There's a lot going on here,
I
folks.
burned it.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Shot a cannonball.
That's it.
All
Shot a cannon.
right. Randy, Kirby disrespected Texas more than that Mississippi State QB.
He didn't disrespect
No.
Texas a bit.
In a good way, though. Not like a, he
No,
they
no.
just come over there and curb stomped him
Just
a little
kind of
bit.
poked him in the eye, but no.
No disrespected.
And he really didn't disrespect
I don't-
Mississippi State, where he was trying to get to Schumann. He was trying to get to the defensive.
And apparently
coordinator.
he got
No, I watched the tape of
I
that.
don't
He didn't
know,
go towards
guys.
it. He pushed the guy and then he stepped over
But
and
here's-
stopped.
I think he realized what he had done.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, to me, it's
He's
kind
the
of like,
moment now.
what do they call that? The Rorschach test, where you see what you want to see.
Yeah.
If you're a
Yeah.
Georgia fan, oh, it was a
It's
mistake.
all-
If
it's
you ain't
all
a,
right.
if you ain't a Georgia fan like me, oh, he did it intentionally.
Yeah, he
but
did.
but he was pushing somebody, and it either been
Yeah, he
his
was.
player or somebody else's
He
player.
was
But
getting to the somebody.
I will say that he handled it correctly.
Yes.
So that's one thing. Make
He
a mistake,
apologized.
own it, handle it, call him up. So
Yeah,
that was
he
good.
did.
All right.
So wait, now they got to answer here.
So you think Kirby
did he
disrespected
disrespect him?
Texas?
No.
All right.
No, Texas disrespected themselves.
There we go. You think Miami's going to stomp FSU?
I
though?
do.
You do think
I'm
that?
afraid it's
way
going to be
around it.
very ugly.
I think FSU's going to get slaughtered.
Yep. All right. We will
We'll
say
leave
that.
Michael Irvin out of
We'll,
it.
Yeah,
we'll
I
leave Michael
agree.
Irvin
He's
out
a
of it.
Dallas Cowboy and a Miami Hurricane, and I can't stand either one.
Yeah. And if you watch him on the sidelines,
Come on, seriously. Who cares? I mean, most of the kids are watching going, who is
they
that?
don't know who he is.
My grandson said, "Who's that guy?" on the side?"
They keep showing him over and over. Who is that?
Yeah. So anyway, all right. Well, I hope y'all had as much fun as we did, and because I'm not having any fun on Saturdays.
Oh, go on.
But anyway, get out there, enjoy, celebrate what's good. See you
Amen.
next time.